Welcome to the threshold page of the VSR2 Wallboard HF. The display has numerous buttons along the top here for navigation. This is GUI navigation typically used from within the wallboard display itself, and there are GUI navigation buttons here to go between sections of the GUI. We have the time and date and logo and heading, etc. there. On the main part of the screen you have the queue threshold information to the left and the agent threshold to the right. Along the base we have a slider. On the left you will see that the thresholds for the queues are set by hour, midnight to 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, etc. And if we click on one of these, it will take us through to the actual thresholds that are set for that time. So here we have average talk time for the customer concern queue is set at 600 seconds, so we can change that. We have calls in queue, we have longest time in queue settings, and every parameter and every queue is shown here, and you simply input the threshold as you prefer, and once that threshold is breached, the background to the cell will turn red. Clicking the Save Thresholds button there will now save that. And if we go to the 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock section here, you'll see that this is emboldened, and if I move up you'll see that all others are emboldened. The reasoning for this is you are able to see which time zones share the same thresholds as the one that we're hovering across. So for the 8 or 9, because I've just changed that, it's the only one with those settings. Now if I set the thresholds for the 8 to 9 o'clock and I wish those to be set across the working day, I simply click on the checkboxes to the left through to the end of my working day. I can obviously, if I select all, it will select all the times, so I can map everything in one go. But at the moment we've set through till 5 p.m. I then choose the time that I have to map from, which is the 8 till 9, and if I map that, it will take the figures from 8 till 9 and it will map them across till 5 in the evening. The benefit of that, of course, is I can set one time zone and then have that for the rest of the day. So now if I hover here, you'll see through till 5 o'clock everything is emboldened. Now if I wish to make adjustments to that, say for instance between 2 and 3 o'clock I feel that one of my figures is not quite right, I might change that till 70 seconds there. I can save that now. And now what I've done is I've set up an initial time, I've mapped that across my working day, and I'm now making adjustments. And now you can see emboldened for all the times I set up except for the time I've just changed, which is singular with regard to what it is showing. On the right hand side we have thresholds that are set for the agent parameters, and these are across the whole of the working day. So for instance I could have time at its particular state of 4 minutes 240 seconds, and then I just save that, and that will now be specific to all of the agents time at a particular state, and if it breaches that the background color will go red. At the bottom the slider bar is for the queue thresholds, and you will see that it has 3 sliders. The 100% marker here is the threshold value that you have set. So for instance where we set the number of calls in queue at 10, if it exceeds 10 the background will go dark red. But what we can do here is we can set a percentage value for all of our thresholds. So if I set it at 60% and 80%, when the number of calls in queue on that example exceeds 60% of 10, which is 6, when it exceeds 6 the background will go a light red. When it exceeds 8 it will go a darker red, and then of course when it exceeds the threshold value of 10 it will go a full red. In this way you can see a build up of pressure in your contact center, and you can set that to be as tight as you wish, or you can obviously set that to be as open as you wish. And at the bottom here we have a selection if you wish to have a positive affirmation where the conditions are very low with regards to pressure. You can have the background in the cell go red, and then from here we simply either create the display or we head to another section of the wallboard. If I do that, it will actually ask me, do you want to save the threshold slider values before leave the page, because obviously I've made the changes, and you can press yes there and then it will continue to the next section as selected. Thank you very much.